our viewers have been watching the webinars afterwards through the emails. So we do thank you for that, and we do understand how busy school life can be, and coaching life and family life can be. So if after a webinar, any of you feel the need to email Lois or I for clarification of something on our webinars, we would be thrilled to help you. Once again, Lois is LOIS at ihtusa.com. And I am Bev, B-E-V, at ihtusa.com. Lois, would you like to add anything for our viewers before we really start into tonight's topic?
No, I think you've done a great job, Bev. Just welcoming everybody, and feel free to contact us via email if you have any further questions or concerns.
So with that, Lois and I are going to get started tonight. Tonight's topic is about putting in the height and weight into the system. Some school systems have automated systems, so their tech people have access to height and weight, while other school systems do not have access to height and weight. And then some school systems are in a situation where we, as the individual teacher, upload our rosters, and many of us, when we get ready to do our fitness assessments, the height and weight becomes a part of what we do during that assessment time. So one way that you can check to see if you have height and weight put into your systems is by clicking on groups, then clicking on your group name. There are 5 grade tabs. If you click on participants and you come down, your students will be listed. And on this page, it'll give you that heart rate monitor number, the fitness level, the gender, and right here is height and weight. If height and weight is not there and you would like to input it, you simply go to the orange tab that says assessments. Then we're going to click on new assessment. You can click on FG with the plus sign, and height and weight is listed there. So I just simply click on height, weight. My group that I'm going to have class with, or that I have the norms to input, slide down towards the bottom of the page, and you have create assessment. After that loads in, once again, this is part of the system in which IHT allows us to input all kinds of information and data about our program and about our students. And once again, there's 2 different formats or platforms that we as educators can input the data in. So in this particular situation, normally we do the height and weight side by side. So I could input the weight, and then while the student's still there, I can input the height. And a reminder, the height is in inches. So we need to convert it into inches. And then I simply tab, and it goes to my next student. And so now I input the data. And I tab again, and it continues to go down the page. If for some reason I want to use the other platform, just to remind you how to do that and where that's at, I come to the top of the page. Weight, as you can see, it's light blue. That means that it's hyperlinked. So I click on it, and it will bring me to this format. So if for some reason maybe I have it written down on a piece of paper and I just want to follow in alphabetical order the weight of my students, then I can just pop into here and input that data, and I'm ready to go. Now, a quick reminder to get back to the other page. In the middle of the page here, it says assessment, and then to the right, there is a back tab. It's another hyperlink that will take me right back to the page where I was at. Couple other things that's nice about IHT. Let's say that something happened and I did not get all the data put into this class period, and the students need to leave to go to the next class period. If I click on assessments, it brings me back to this page. The next day, that's all I have to do is go back into the date that I started to put in the height and the weight. I click on that date, and it will quickly remind me of the students that I had time to input the data and the students that I still need to put the information into. So once again, I go to the hyperlink up on top, I click height, and now as I have time or as we can, I can simply put in the rest of the information that's needed. Lois, what other things have I omitted, or would you like to add to the conversation about inputting the data for height and weight and resources that the audience may need?
Well, Bev, in your opinion, I think it would be good to let them know, do you prefer that they make an assessment such as this? Or if they have several classes that need height and weight and they have the ability to put it on an Excel spreadsheet, why would you recommend or not recommend that they re-import their student list with the height and weight in it?
Yes, and people can do that. So if it's easier for you, there's a couple more ways to do this. The first way, we'll talk about importing. The first way is I'll just show you how to click on new assessment here. And it's the same information. I'm going to put in height, weight. I'm going to grab my group or groups, and I can make a template. So this is one way that I can use an Excel worksheet if I already have it on an Excel worksheet, and just copy and paste and put it in to this worksheet. Make sure that you click enable editing. And then after I have all the information in here, so I'm just quickly going to tab some information in here for the audience. Then I need to, once again, save this to my desktop. Make sure you label it so you understand what it is. Labeling things, as we all know by now, is just helps us with our time. So I'm going to put it on my desktop, and I'm just going to put it as a file right now.
Is that saved as a workbook then, Bev, rather than as a CSV file?
Yes, and for this, that will be fine. So I click on import. Then I'm coming in and I'm choosing my file. So I go back to my desktop. I find that file, and now I import it. And now that information will go straight into, right here it is. And now that information went straight into my records. And there's the information that I just got done typing. So that's one way. There's a third way that we could put in our height and weight. And that would be coming back to our participants, and then putting it into the Excel sheet or the CSV file, the CSV file, and then re-uploading the CSV file. One more thing before we close tonight, and so as you can see, there's 3 different ways that you can upload height and weight if it wasn't originally on your CSV file. I need to wait a second. My internet is spinning now.
And importing height and weight, just so the audience understands, the purpose behind that is to be able to look at BMI.
Right.
And also,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, and also the calories burned while using the system. So it's a good idea to use height and weight if it's at all possible.
And what Lois is helping us all understand, it's very important. Some students are very motivated to see how many calories that they're burning. And we get phone calls once in a while, and Lois can expand upon this too, because she works with this a little bit more than what I do. But if you are not getting the results of the number of calories burned, you need to go back and look at your participants and see if your height and weight has been entered. Correct, Lois?
That's correct, Bev. Absolutely.
And so one of the things that many of our customers have been doing, and it's been working out great for motivation for kids, is challenging the classes from class period to class period to improve the calories burned by 1. And we don't have to go extreme with our goal setting, but even if they see improvement by 1 in the calories burned, we're all headed in the right direction. There's different numbers or different types of data that will motivate kids to continue to work hard in your classes. And so the point that Lois has brought up tonight is very, very important for all of us, and that is the height and weight is connected to our calories burned. If we want to use this as one of our motivations, then it's important to have this inputted into our system. I know some school systems are concerned about height, weight, BMI, and those type of things on reports. So the next part of this is I would like to show you in reports how to make sure that the BMI is not unintentionally on a report. So when you go to create report, because there's a lot of good reasons to have that height and weight inputted into I'm just going to title my report Fall 2016. You need to be descriptive in your titles. And this is just a test report or training. The more information you have, the easier it is later on to come back to that. Right now, I'm going to click on a FitnessGram report as an example, and I'm going to backdate this a little bit. And what I would, got to have a group in here. So what I want to show you is I have a choice as an educator, and that choice comes right now. When you look at measures in report, I can unclick BMI. I can click it in, and I can take it out. I know I get that question a little bit about my school doesn't want BMI on my reports, and I'm sure you do too, Lois. Anything else on these reports that we can help the audience understand how to exclude the BMI from the report?
No, I think you did a great job on that, Bev.
So if you do have more questions about that moving forward, be sure to email the 2 of us or either one of us, and we'll help walk you through that. 2 other things about reports that I would like to point out, because we're getting closer to finishing up FitnessGram, finishing up our fitness assessments. Make sure that when you go to make your report that you look at the starting on. You need to backdate that to wherever you started inputting data into your system. And then to keep your information clean, you want to come in here and you probably want to put in today's date or the very one date beyond the last date that you were inputting information for the test that you're trying to run. The last thing that I want to talk about is this box right here to the left. It's called Include Participant History. We need to think about this. If we have had students that move from one teacher to another, one school building to another in our larger districts. So for an example, if Lois and I were teaching together, but we were in separate buildings or just had separate classes, and one of her students moved into my classes for whatever reason. In PE, if math and history and English classes change, many times they look at physical education as the place to help move and rearrange those students. So in order for that students' records to move forward into my classes, I would need to click on Include Participant History. Once in a while, I get that question too about I'm missing information from a student. And many times the first thing I'll ask our customers is, did that student move from one teacher to another? Or did that student move from one building to another? More clarification on the importance of including participant history, Lois.
No, you've done a very good job of that. Just to reiterate that our data follows the students by their ID number. So even if they leave the district and come back 2-3 months later, if you click on that button, you will be able to pull in their past data.
So that kind of concludes our presentation for tonight. In closing, Lois, is there anything else you would like to add for the audience?
I think you've done a great job tonight, Bev. And again, if they have questions or concerns, they can certainly contact us. Again, my email is Lois, Lois, at ihtusa.com. And Bev's email is bev at ihtusa.com. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been our pleasure.
And thank you.